in there you say you're running away to Joburg, running away to Cape Town and all of that. One of the other reasons that your mayoral candidacy is under
scrutiny.
Scrutiny. The Star this morning on the headline, they said your campaign is controversial, is because you called black people who are going to Cape Town refugees. Once again, in Johannesburg, I don't think that's something that can just easily fly, because we're all refugees in Johannesburg because none of us are from here. So when you've made statements like that in the past, do you realize that they can be detrimental to what you want now?
Let me tell you that I'm a refugee, and my parents were refugees. They came here because their lives were threatened and half my family was murdered. And that is why they were refugees in South Africa. There is absolutely no blame on a refugee for being a refugee.
But in the context of what you were saying,
the blame is on the circumstances that forced them to become a refugee. Now, the truth is that many people come to Cape Town because they are escaping the situation in which they live. In the Eastern Cape, hundreds of thousands of people leave for Cape Town because they want a school that works, because they want a clinic that works, because they want a chance to get a job, because they want clean water, because they want reliable electricity, because they want connectivity. And refugee is a word that you use everywhere in the world. It is not pejorative to say you are going away from something.
It is, though, because you were referring to the black people in the Eastern Cape who've gone to Cape Town, because much like that, you can't say they just went to Western Cape. They also come to Johannesburg. My question to you is, now you want to come and be the mayor of Johannesburg, but if you are looking at black people who are coming to Johannesburg, who are here living in Johannesburg, that are not here as refugees, that's not the person you want in charge.
Why do black people hate refugees so much?
You can't ask them why we're offended by something. If it offends them, it offends them. That's not the debate here. The debate is, you didn't call the white people in Cape Town who are not from Western Cape refugee. But in that moment when you said it, you didn't.
I'm a refugee.
So do you regret the way that came out? Would you like to change that statement?
Well, the truth is that anybody who wants to create a
better life for themselves.
Anybody who wants to create offense and manufacture outrage will pick one word that isn't offensive and build it up as if it causes moral outrage. What I'm saying is the circumstances in the Eastern Cape are a total disgrace. The circumstances in Johannesburg are a total disgrace. I would call myself...
Some of the places in Cape Town are also a total disgrace.
Well, you tell me which places haven't got water, which places haven't got electricity, which places haven't got refuse removal, which places have not got
safety.
Well,
gangs, crime.
Absolutely, safety, gangs, crime. That's why we're going to fight to the Constitutional Court to get policing powers for the city of Cape Town. The national government can't run policing. It's totally corrupt. Kwanazi told us, the Madlanga Commission is listening to the evidence. It is riddled with corruption from criminal syndicates. That's why we want to control policing. The police are too controlled by the gangs themselves, by the drug dealers themselves. That's why we want to control. Right till the Constitutional Court get that power.
You see, the issue at hand is that, once again, there are areas in Cape Town where what you're saying, you're absolutely correct, and there's proof of it. But the areas in Cape Town that are not, and the optics are, the areas in Cape Town that are not, are the areas that are people of color. Right?
Well,
so what it looks like is that, yes, you do know how to run, a municipality.
You're pretending, Anele, you're pretending that there are places all over South Africa that are poor, that are not people of color. The tragedy is, with the legacy of the past, in Johannesburg, there are ghastly areas. Drive through Alexandra and see what it looks like. It is an absolute bloody disgrace. Drive through Alexandra and see what it looks like. Those are people of color. If you go to any ANC-run municipality, people of color are worse off than they are in any DA municipality. And that's a fact. And even the president knows that.
Yeah, so what you're saying then is, the DA is bad, but not as bad as the ANC, and that's why we should vote for you.
No. The DA faces the legacy of the past. It raises a huge amount of money from the better off suburbs and cross-subsidizes to give the poor the best. Joburg loses 46% of its water, almost 50%.
Cape Town is a great example of a well-run.
So that is
what about Tshwane and what about Nelson Mandela Bay? Are they as well-run as Cape Town?
Of course not, because it has to have the DA government for 20 years. That's the point.
So you're saying that
When you've had the DA government for 20 years,
Helen.
you have a good place. I'm telling you the truth. You can say, oh, Helen, all you like, because I'm not playing your ideological games here. I'm talking about service delivery on the ground, which is what local government is about.
Okay.
Bottom line. And to answer I'm answering still your callers, because they're asking the good questions here.
You don't have to insult us into like
You're insulting
into putting
me.
us
I will
no,
insult
we're
you.
asking you good questions. We didn't insult you once. We're asking you good
I
questions.
want to tell
you don't
you,
have to get
if you
defensive.
want- I'm
you
not
don't have to get.
defensive.
You
I'm on the
are.
attack.
You
I'm on the
are.
attack.
Because the first insult
I'm
here
on
that
the
was
attack.
thrown was that none of us in this studio are asking good questions.
Well, you
You
aren't.
don't have to.
That's a fact.
This is going to be a
You don't have to
partnership.
be insulted
You
by the
don't
facts.
This is going to be a partnership. We run Joburg as well as you are going to.
You run Joburg.
Yes, we do. We come
run
here.
your studio.
Yes, that's what we're doing, Helen. If you win, we're going to be in a partnership because this is the platform that you are going to use to communicate a lot of times. So you don't have to come and insult us. Just you can don't be snarky about it. Still answer. No one here was snarky.
If
We
you
welcome you
insult
in,
me,
and we're great.
I will give as good as I get, and you have to understand
When
that.
did we insult you, my
With
dear?
every single sideswipe question.
No, we asked you
Right.
questions.
Let me
valid
answer your
questions.
listeners. No one's interested
Super
in
flustered.
you here.
But
They're
you
interested
came
in the
here,
answers to my questions.
Helen, you came
I can
here.
also leave.
Okay,
but I
you
want to answer your
can.
listeners. Okay. Now I'm going to answer your listeners. We will start a maintenance program. We will start by switching a lot of the operational budget into maintenance. Johannesburg spends less on maintenance than any other city in the country. And that is a disgrace. And that is why the poor are suffering. Because there's been no new investment in capital infrastructure and there has been no maintenance. And that is a disgrace because all the money has been siphoned off, given to cadres, turned Joburg into an employment creation hub for the ANC and its own cadres. And that is exactly why you're sitting in this problem. We can't fix it overnight. We will have a maintenance plan. We will inform you of what the maintenance plan is. We will deliver on that maintenance plan. And we will do so.
But I'm saying that there are allegations of corruption within the DA.
Examples?
So would you
Examples?
Nancy, this book files the 10 is on.
Which book? Give me examples, please.
Helen, is there anything else you'd like to say before we make sure that every single time that you are here campaigning, we want to hear from you?
If you ask me a question and make an allegation, you have to substantiate it. Simple.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. There were allegations. So what I'm saying to you is...
Allegations is not proof.
If there is found to be corruption within the DA, right?
Yeah.
That means that you can't do what you're saying that you are going to do.
Okay, let me give you an answer to that question, Anele. The bottom line answer to that question is you don't survive in the DA if you are corrupt. You are chopped off immediately at the neck. In the ANC, you can't survive if you're not corrupt. Because everybody's corrupt. So the minute someone like Babita Deokaran is not corrupt, they have to take her out. So in the ANC, you can't survive if you're not corrupt. In the DA, you can't survive if you are corrupt.
Can you survive in the DA if you're racist?
Certainly not. We're the most non-racial party there is, and we are completely judging people on their value as human beings and not the color of their skin.
Because I think that'll be your biggest obstacle in getting to mayor. Once again, I led this conversation with the fact that you are very qualified to run and be mayor. I do not for a second doubt that. I just think that as a person who is living in Johannesburg, as a black person who lives in Johannesburg, black people struggle to see you wanting to forward them. Right? That's what it comes across as.
Anele, when were you elected as the spokesperson of all black people? You weren't. How can you speak for black people? I can't speak for white people.
Helen, you
I
are
am not
on
a
Twitter every day. You see what people say about you, babe. You see it. People do not trust you to have the interests of black people at heart. Please don't come here and want to like...
Twitter is not the voters' role.
You are everywhere.
Twitter is not the voters' role. That is the first thing you have to... Anele, you don't speak for black people. I don't speak for white people. I judge you as an individual, and I want people to judge me as an individual.
Okay.
I bet I did more to fight apartheid than everybody sitting in the studio today.
And so do the people that are now currently running it into the ground as well. So,
well, some of them, but no one who loves South Africa will steal its money and run it into the ground. No one.
Okay.
And I have no time for people who claim struggle credentials, get into power and steal the people blind.
Okay.
None at all.
Thank you for your time. We are so...
It was explosive today. I'm sure you've all seen the video that's trending between Anele's interview with Helen Zille, the mayoral candidate for Joburg for 2026. There was sparks of fire between the two, and sarcastically too. I'm not here to take sides, but the Iron Lady tried to retaliate and deflect from the truth also. And Anele didn't give her that 5 inches. She was late for the interview, and sarcasm was also flown left, right, and center. When Anele said to her, when she said maybe she can answer questions from viewers, and Anele said, it's a bit late. If you arrived on time, maybe you could answer the questions. But my big question to you is, what difference is Helen Zille going to make in the city of Joburg? We all know that the DA ran Swane, but not for long. It was with Cilliers Brink, but he didn't survive. And we all know that Helen Zille was also a former mayor of Cape Town. The DA is still running Cape Town. But what change have they made in Cape Town? Don't let me get started about crime. They might have service delivery in the posh, affluent white areas, but what about the colored areas? They say there's a tick list. What tick list? When our people are struggling on the Cape Flats. Whether you're black, white, colored or Indian, you will have to make the difference when you put your vote out there. But my big question to you is, what is Helen Zille going to do differently? What is she going to do to make the people and win the people? I mean, there is so much problems in Westbury, Coronationville, and the list goes on with Aldos, etc., which has a lot of crime. They can't solve the crime in Cape Town with the DA. What are they going to do in Gauteng? And what is she going to do in affluent black areas like Soweto and Alexandra when Googs and Khayelitsha are crying out for help? Public, what do you think?
I cannot not say anything about this, and I usually do geopolitics and not South African politics, but we can't not talk about this. I hope that you've seen the interview on Helen Zille, 74-year-old DA. She wants to run for mayor in Johannesburg. Sharp. Now they're asking her in an interview, Untobana, do you believe that what's happening in Gaza is a genocide? The audacity, I think genocide is a big word. Has she not been seeing what we've been seeing? I mean, you cannot deny what is happening in Gaza. And over and beyond that, we know Cape Town, run by DA, has been selling properties and estates to Israelis. And then the Sarah Cupcake, who then goes and tells councillors that they did not feed, by the way, they went home in empty stomachs. The other week, the Tambene meeting in Johannesburg, tells the councillors that DA-led municipalities are better led. You mean these ones? You mean this Cape Town? Or this Cape Town? Which Cape Town are you talking about? I have family in Philippi. Listen, and I've been going there for many, many years. It's worse and worse. You mean this Cape Town? Aibo, are we living in parallel? Aibo, Helen, and all these clever blacks that are behind the DA and supporting DA and saying which the municipalities run by DA are better than the ones that we are fana, switch new man, fana. In fact, they are even worse. All of them, bapeta.
I think it is the policy of the DA to not praise a black person when a black person does a good job. Let me explain. When Helen Zille was on Newsroom Africa with Xoli Mgambi, instead of Helen Zille talking about the work that Mkhwanazi is doing, which seeks to deal with the drugs precisely in the city of Johannesburg, Helen Zille doesn't mention Mkhwanazi, and she talks about the powers of the police being given to the provinces. When Xoli asked Helen Zille about Mkhwanazi and his presentation at the Madlanga Commission, she says, no, Mkhwanazi still has to provide proof. Now, this is the hypocrisy of the DA. It is this same DA that praised Andre Durete when he exposed corruption at Eskom. The DA didn't say, no, Andre Durete still has to provide proof. The DA submitted a request to Eskom wanting more information and evidence regarding the alleged involvement of the ANC in Eskom corruption. But when it comes to Mkhwanazi's bombshell, they start stuttering. Secondly, Helen Zille is lying when she says that the DA governs properly in the Western Cape when it comes to policing. We know that people are dying in the Western Cape because of the drugs and gang violence every weekend, and the DA government is failing them. Thirdly, isn't it laughable that Helen Zille is going to contest the mayorship of the city of Johannesburg? She's 74 years old. This man, Prince Marshall, says he endorses her. But the same Prince Marshall and other South Africans always complain about black people who are at the same age as Helen Zille. But Prince Marshall and other South Africans don't have a problem with Helen Zille contesting for the mayorship of the city of Johannesburg at the age of 74. Isn't it laughable? Stockholm Syndrome. Additionally, can we imagine if, say, Panyaza Lesufi was elected by the ANC in the Western Cape to contest for the mayorship of the Western Cape? Do you know how much people in the Western Cape were going to complain that Panyaza Lesufi is not staying in the Western Cape? I'm just saying. Lastly, Xoli asks Helen whether she considers what happens in Gaza a genocide. She says a genocide is a big word. This is despite the fact that more than 50,000 children have already been killed in Gaza by Israel, and the fact that a report has been released by the UN Commission that Israel has committed a genocide in the Gaza Strip. I wonder if these people also think that what is happening in Gaza is not a genocide. I also wonder if Prince Marshall also thinks that what is happening in Gaza is not a genocide. Remember, this is the part that after Russia attacked Ukraine, the DA took a decision to light up the Western Cape legislature in the colors of Ukraine's flag. In addition to that, Steenhuisen visited Ukraine. However, Helen Zille and the DA think that the death of 50,000 children in Gaza is not a genocide. Furthermore, Helen Zille says that she believes in a two-state solution. This is something that is said by Israeli supporters. But do you know who doesn't want a two-state solution? Israel. I mean, why do you think Israel broke the ceasefire that was put in place during the beginning of this year? Secondly, why do you think Israel tried to bomb Hamas negotiators in Qatar a few weeks ago? That's what Xoli should have asked Helen when she started talking about the nonsensical two-state narrative that Israel does not want. Let me conclude by saying this. It is only black people who are suffering from Stockholm Syndrome who think Helen Zille and her political party are in government in this country for the purposes of improving the lives of black people.
I just want to start off by saying anyone that says that Anele was being aggressive in her interview with that granny of a woman that is Helen Zille, anti-black, 1, tone policing, 2, just an assertive black woman. Just an assertive black woman. To say she's an emotional, I literally won't even argue with you. I won't, I'm not even going, there will be no back and forth. There will be no oh, we can't even have debate. No, because it's giving anti-black and it's giving misogynoir. And as a black woman, how am I going to benefit from someone that clearly hates me? Where's this argument going? Why am I going to do that to myself? I'm not going to put myself through that. Say what you want. I don't care. You're wrong. So there's that. Second of all, I feel like my hatred for this woman has been dormant because she's been active in the Western Cape. And so I've been able to mise it, just my city, Johannesburg. Bro, she doesn't even live here! She doesn't even go here. She doesn't, no. I have decided that I will be very vocal in terms of how much I hate this woman because I cannot stand the idea of us possibly being close in any way, shape, or form to having a racist, pro-Israel, genocide sympathizer, apartheid, nostalgist. She hates poor people. So an aparophobe on top of that, hates poor people. What are we doing? No. I'm not gonna sit and let that happen because I love this city stupid. Absolutely not. I've been venting all day. I've been venting my poor colleagues. Shame. I love them down for that. But yeah, that's how I feel. So if you're gonna say anything about Anele, anti-black, misogynoir, I'm not even gonna engage. Because you hate me. I'm a black woman. Ain't no way you're gonna listen to anything I have to say. Points I have to make. Take it for truth that it is. So why would I waste my energy? Because in actual fact, the amount of microaggressions coming from Helen throughout that thing. We all privy to it, girl. We know what you're doing. Low-key, Helen Zille is actually a cautionary tale of why I am personally extremely wary of white allies. Generally. Because
Maybe I'll unpack that thought another day. Today I've been screaming